This is Howie Long of the Los Angeles Raiders. Over the years, my teammates have brought you the stories of how the United Way tackles the tough problems that any of us might have to face in life. Back in 1985, I appeared in an NFL United Way spot with my wife Diane and our new son Christopher. My family has grown. These are my sons Kyle and Howie. We want the best for them, and we want the best for all children. That's why we are United Way volunteers. Bring the message of the dangers of drug and alcohol abuse to children even as young as 7 and 8. When you give to the United Way, you not only say that you care about children, but you're reaffirming your commitment to the idea that through the United Way, we can all be assured that our contributions are being spent wisely. Now, more than ever, the United Way, helping where help is needed the most.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
There is no more Sunday Night Football, but on Sequest, there's still plenty of action.
Communications dead!
When terrorists seize the Sequest, all new NBC Tonight. A cop's mother murdered.
Oh, my God.
And all the clues lead to his own father.
He wanted a divorce. I did not murder her.
Lloyd Bridges and Beau Bridges in an absorbing, sensational mystery Ray's TV guide.
And the truth shall set you free.
Secret Sins of the Father, NBC Tonight.
You're watching WTVO-TV 17 NBC Rockford. Quality breeds comfort. This time of year, safety means comfort, and nobody handles tough winter roads better than Ford's lineup of front-wheel drive cars, like Ford Taurus. Now you can lease America's bestseller with standard dual airbags and anti-lock brakes for only $266 a month for 24 months. Or you can buy a new Taurus and save over $1,100. Two great deals on America's #1 selling car. Quality breeds success. See your local Ford dealer today.
What we do is bring the resources of a $3 billion technology giant to your small business. What we do is give you continuous support from planning and training to building a network. What we do is provide affordable solutions for all of your computing needs, no matter how big or how small.
Get a full 3-year warranty on the Compact Pro Linea at Rock Valley Computers, Spring Creek and Mulford.
Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza, where you always get great pizza, plus something for nothing.
Jim Lampley back in our New York studio with Mike Ditka and Joe Gibbs after, guys, one of the most spectacular first-half shootouts, not just in NFL playoff history, but in NFL history. Let's look at the comparative numbers for the two quarterbacks. John Elway, 18 of 25, 199 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a great half. But what about Hostetler? 22 yards per attempt in the first half, 3 touchdowns, 202 yards. And Joe Gibbs, you two guys have been sitting here, unlike the many fans at home who are so wildly entertained, cringing at the lack of defense.
Well, I tell you what, I'm not so sure we shouldn't congratulate Sterling and Shannon Sharp's parents. Greatest production, 2 days in the playoff. But certainly, I think Denver's trying to play zone, which is smart. They can't stay with the Raiders man-to-man, and yet it turns around with the Raiders busting them down the middle when they play 2 deep. When they play 3 deep, they caught the in route, okay, by Tim Brown, and he took off. So the speed is just killing Denver right now.
Subplot underneath all that spectacular passing, Mike. Chester McLaughlin goes out early. Since then, a lot of hitting after the whistle on both sides.
Well, there's no love lost between these football teams, but I tell you, it's interesting. I talked before the games. I said defense is going to be the key to this game, and by God, it is going to be the key, because the one that has the defense that's on the last play of the game is going to be the team that loses.
Okay, so Denver and LA playing for the right to go to Buffalo next Saturday. Meanwhile, the NFC divisional playoff matchups are set. Green Bay at Dallas on Sunday. Saturday, it will be the Giants at San Francisco. The Giants having beaten the Vikings 17-10 earlier today in a game powerfully influenced by wind and by the Giants' pass rush. McMahon forced to the sidelines twice today. Here he suffers a mild concussion after getting hit by both Mike Fox and Keith Hamilton. Meanwhile, Phil Simms simply gave the ball to Rodney Hampton. It was 10-3 Minnesota in the third. When Hampton turned the game around with this 51-yard run down the right sideline, Hampton on the day, 33 carries, 161 yards. Among them, this 2-yard touchdown a little bit later in the third quarter that put the Giants up 17-10. Our Beasley Reese was at the Meadowlands.
The Giants are headed to San Francisco next week as a result of textbook Giant football.
The guys did a great job when we did pass of keeping them off of me. And the main thing is that we ran the ball. That's what we were hoping to do.
Well, we knew that they had a great defensive line. You know, Dolman and the rest of the guys are going to make some big plays, but we saw that we can also pop some big runs, and we was able to do that the second half.
If it is my last game in Giants Stadium, and I've really enjoyed it, the fans have treated me very well over the 13 years. Management has treated me well over 13 years, and the players have treated me well over 13 years. And I tell you, it's nice to go out, if it is my last game, with a channel like LT, because that's what I play Sunday. That's what I play for.
So LT not announcing his retirement today, but sounding as if this playoff stretch run may well be his last. Now back to Jim Lampley in our NFL Live studio in New York.
All right, thanks, Beasley. Yet another subplot. Before we get the comments from Mike and Joe, let's reiterate the schedule. Once again, it is Green Bay at Dallas on Sunday. Saturday, the Giants go to San Francisco to play against the 49ers. Mike, you've been harping all fall about the simplicity and effectiveness of Dan Reeves' concept with the Giants. This was vintage stuff.
I think the key to a great coach is you don't take your system and automatically make the people who play your system. I think you're flexible enough to let your system work with the people you have. He saw what he had. He has a good offensive line. He has a great running back in Hampton. He has a great quarterback in Sims. That's what he's using.
Phil Simms, though, under 100 yards passing today, Joe, will they need more explosiveness against the 49ers?
Well, they will, but I almost had to laugh. I got to comment on Lawrence Taylor. I'm there 12 years. He's there the whole 12. Haunts me, kills us, and now he's going to retire. Yeah, they'll need more explosiveness, but I think they got a game plan. They went with it today. This was a win game. I've been there many times. I hated it. You play a quarter against that wind, just running it, turn around, and who's had the most practice? The Giants, and they win.
And they win on the ground, in some ways ignoring the wind and its effect on the game. When we return, we'll talk about next week's AFC divisional playoffs, and we'll be joined live by the Oilers' Warren Moon and the Bills' Bruce Smith. That'll be right after these messages from your local station.
The Chicago Sun-Times calls it Married with Children with a Higher IQ.
The real think piece.
It's the blue-collar, blue-ribbon, three-star comedy, The Good Life, NBC Tuesday. Last Thursday, over 33 million viewers witnessed the season premiere of Homicide, the show the New York Daily News calls sizzling, superb drama. Tom Shales of the Washington Post says, it's the best cop show I've ever seen. If you missed it, you've got to watch Homicide after a special one-hour Seinfeld, NBC Thursday.
News 17's Weekend Report. Experience the difference.
If you feel trapped by lack of job skills, Goodwill Industries can provide a way out. Call about Goodwill job training. If you've got the will, Goodwill has the way.
Right now is the time to shop Ditto's gigantic after holiday sale. Our entire inventory is on sale with savings up to 70%. All outerwear is now 25 to 50% off, and our selection is still second to none. But shop early, because of these savings, it won't last. Shop Ditto's today, State and Mulford, next to Kay's.
Season of NBA action on NBC starts in just 3 weeks when Charles Barkley goes to the mecca of the game, Boston Garden, as the Suns battle the Celtics. And at halftime, a very special moment as Kevin McHale's number 32 is raised to the rafters. Just the start of the NBA on NBC on Super Sunday, January 30th.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza, where you always get great pizza, plus something for nothing.
Halftime at the Coliseum with the Broncos and the Raiders tied at 21. Now, we remind you, next weekend we'll have the AFC divisional playoffs right here on NBC. Beginning Saturday with NFL Live at noon Eastern Time, then Buffalo will host the winner of today's Broncos-Raiders game. On Sunday, we're on the air at 3:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live prior to the Kansas City-Houston game. And joining us here in the studio is the Oilers' Warren Moon, not wearing his wavy lays outfit today. And in Buffalo, the great defensive end Bruce Smith. We'll turn to him in just a moment. Warren, I'll start with you. You get ready to play the Chiefs. I'm sure you watched them yesterday. Earlier this year, a 30-0 win over the team with Dave Craig starting at quarterback. Right. This game with Montana promises to be different.
Well, it's only different because it's the playoffs, first of all, and yes, Montana will be there, so he'll make a big difference. But when you get in the playoffs, I think you throw the regular season records out the window. We did play them very well earlier in the season, but this is the playoffs. Everybody lets everything out. The intensity is totally different.
Now, the Oiler coaching staff controversy continues. A new quote today from Buddy Ryan in the Philadelphia newspaper saying basically that nothing about Gilbride surprises him, that he isn't qualified to be an offensive coordinator in the National Football League, shouldn't even be working in this capacity. Does any of this bother you as players?
Well, these type of statements bother me personally because, you know, coaches are all in a fraternity together and they shouldn't be attacking one another like this. And Kevin's proven himself as an outstanding offensive coach, and for Buddy to attack him like this really doesn't seem necessary at this point in the year, especially for a team that's doing so well right now. So I really don't understand it, and I wish it would just stop.
As we get ready to turn to Bruce Smith, of course, a lot of people believe that you're going to win next week and then wind up going to Buffalo for the AFC Division Championship game. Because of what happened last year, are the Bills in the back of your minds?
There's no question they're in the back of our minds. We'd like to get to that point. The AFC Championship would be a big boost for us, but we know we have a tough game next week against Kansas City, and they're going to be tough to beat, but we're going to be at home, so we feel like we have an advantage there. But, you know, Buffalo is going to be the team to beat. We knew if we went to the Super Bowl this year, we'd have to go through Buffalo, and anybody who goes this year is going to have to go through Buffalo.
All right, of course, Bruce and the Bills are going to say that they'll focus on next week's business between the winner of Denver and L.A., but Bruce, don't you expect in the back of your mind that a play against the Oilers is poetic justice this year?
Well, that's something that might happen down the line, but right now we're focusing on the team that we have to play this coming week, which is going to be either the Raiders or the Broncos. So that's what we're focusing on right now.
And you're focusing on two teams who've just played one of the most spectacular offensive first halves ever seen in the NFL playoffs. What do you think of them?
Very physical ball game. These two quarterbacks are astronomical. Both of them have a lot of talent, and they're great scramblers, so that poses a threat to any opposing defense.
Bruce, a lot of people believe that because your team was more dependent on defense than ever before this year, you rose to the occasion and had your best year. Tied for second in the conference in sacks. Do you believe it was your best year?
I definitely do, and I truly believe I should have been named Defensive Player of the Year, but that's something that's water under the dam, so to speak. And right now, I'm looking forward to playing in the playoffs and getting my mind and every physical aspect of the game and studying films to take care of the task we have coming up.
All right. Thanks very much for your time, Bruce. We'll look forward to watching you next week. Warren, thanks for coming in. Thanks. We'll look forward to seeing you. Guys, 21-21 with all those fireworks. Can you believe it? He calls it a very physical game.
I think you ought to be named Broadcaster of the Year. I don't care.
And one other thing, Warren Moon, Bruce Smith, those two guys would get me back out of retirement.
Yeah.
Let me coach them, a package deal.
You keep turning all those jobs down, Joe. You can't come back. Time now to send it back to the Coliseum for the second half of Broncos Raiders. Let's rejoin Charlie Jones and Todd Christensen.